It's been a couple of days since I uploaded a video. This week has been absolutely crazy. Got a lot going on. We finally have the Wixwell fusion that everybody's been hyped for live in the game as well, which is pretty cool. So we got our first look at this champion. A lot of the content creators were doing some reviews and stuff like that on the test server. He looks significantly better in the promotionals than he actually does in the game. I've always noticed the textures are a little bit lower in quality in the game, as you'd expect, right? But he's looking to be a fairly decent champion so far. He's got some very decent base stats on him. Based on some of the stuff that we're seeing there as well, he's going to be pretty interesting in terms of where you can use him, even like Fire Knight Hard and those sorts of things. A few people have him already. The reviews are kind of mixed, as you'd expect. This champion definitely, I don't think he's going to be the most useful for everybody in the game, but I think if you're just starting out, if you're mid game, maybe even early late game, you could probably get some use out of him. But at the very end game, there's probably just better options. This intercept passive though, or this intercept buff rather, is going to be very useful for countering our Mons. I got a video planned, some exciting stuff. Some people in the Discord have been seeing it early as well, so I do have a potential counter team figured out to take care of Armand's teams. I have a couple of them. One of them is going to be free-to-play friendly, so stay tuned for that video. Make sure you subscribe as well if you're interested in seeing some free-to-play friendly stuff. I try to put out content like that every so often. I try to do reviews and stuff like that on champions that aren't talked about so much. So there is a big review coming as well for a champion that not many people talk about too much, I don't think. So anyways, that being said as well, real quick, thank you guys all so much. We finally reached the 1,000 subscriber mark, which is the mark to be at for any wannabe YouTubers. So this is absolutely huge. Thank you all so much for the support. I appreciate it very much. I think I'm going to be organizing some giveaways in the way of probably either account takeovers or possibly gear cleanses that I'll give away to people who are already subscribed as well. So again, if you want to get in on that, make sure you are subscribed. Leave a comment down below too. Let me know if you'd be interested in that as a giveaway. I'm also thinking about possibly doing some Steam games mixed in there as well. So let me know if you guys think that that would be appropriate as well. I don't know how many guys, how many people here are also PC gamers versus how many people are just playing on their phone, right? So it's always hard to try and get an idea of the viewer base. But what is the dirty trick that you've seen in the title and the thumbnail for this fusion? The way it usually works. So this is a traditional fusion, which means that we have these rares which get fused into the epics, and then the 4 epics get fused into the legendary. I'll put a thumbnail up on screen here of the fusion layout. Basically, what usually would happen is we would have a summon rush towards the start of the fusion, and that would be followed up by a champion chase tournament at the end of the fusion. What is the importance in that? Well, summon rushes are an event where you get points for opening certain rarities of shards. So for example, sacred shards are 500 points, void shards are 120 points, etc. Champion chase tournaments, like the one that we have live right now, are going to be tournaments where you get points based on the champions that you pull, so the rarity of them and all that sort of good stuff, right? The affinity plays a little bit of a part into it too. What's different about this? So usually, especially during a traditional fusion, what we could do is we could collect a lot of these rares, train them up, get them ready to go. And then once that champion chase tournament starts, we could go ahead and fuse them into the epics at that point and use those epics to actually get ourselves a little bit more in terms of champion chase points. So depending on how many you'd already acquired, it could be anywhere between like 250 or 700 points, right? Because each of these, so 750 in total, each of them would be 250 points. That's changed, so now we have the champion chase first, which means that we are not going to get any rewards for these champions when we have to pull them, which I think is actually going to make the fusion significantly harder, especially for low spend players who might not have an absolute ton of shards that they're sitting on. I opened like 40 ancient shards and got 2 epics out of the entire thing. It was insane, so I had to dip into like 5 sacreds and pull those to get it finished. But I do think that this is definitely a negative move as far as the fusions go. I think this sets a dangerous precedent that we should be talking about for the game, because this fusion isn't that good. So moving around the points like this and making it a lot harder for, low spend or free-to-play players definitely is not acceptable in my opinion. I say he's not that good as in not everybody's going to be going for him. He's not a must fuse. I think there's cases to be made for, not fusing him, just saving your resources. So don't hate on me in the comments. I'm calling it how it is. I'm going to go for this guy. I'm probably not going to use him, but I am going to get him. So that being said, I think we do need to talk about this. I think we need to get the community involved as well. Start talking about it on Reddit and the forums and all those sorts of places as well, because if we ever get a must-fuse champion, like, so for example, the Pythions going forward, or Ukos, or champions like that, right? And it's made so much harder already, because we've had everything just get more difficult with the fusions. The point requirements are going up for dungeon diver events, notably. I believe point requirements have increased for champion training in a lot of instances. Summon rushes, we've seen increases of points. There's so much going on. And not only that, but we also now have additional points in tournaments we have to take part in after to get the awakenings. So all of this put together, and then also combined with the fact that they're now taking away the reward system that we could have possibly used before by summoning those champions later, it removes a lot of the strategy from the fusion, and it's just we have to brute force our way through it now with resources, which I am definitely not a fan of. I am okay spending a little bit of money on the game every so often, so I'm definitely coming from that weird borderline where I'm not quite a high spender, but I'm also not quite a free-to-play player, and I can definitely understand how this would frustrate some free-to-play players, and I can also definitely understand why so many people might have a negative sentiment about this fusion based off of this. What do you guys think, though? Am I being too dramatic about this? Am I reading into it too far? Is Plarium going to be the savior of the free-to-play players and reverse it on the next fusion? Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.